Shalom, shalom, everyone. This is Yaina Israel with another edition of the School of Knowledge on our Sabbath day. We thank you so much for joining us, and we're going back into our lesson that we started last week. It's very important that we go through these because we have to understand as a people what happened to us. And what we've come to realize is that there's a lot of people out there, a lot of Israelites out there that don't really understand fully the story of what happened to us as a people and why we are in the condition that we're in today. And this is very important to understand. So we're going through our captivities, and we were dealing with the northern kingdom and its captivity. And I wanted to give a little bit of biblical history because this is very important for us to understand who we're dealing with in terms of, and what happened. You know, because a lot of people don't really understand what caused the split of the United Kingdom of Israel, because we were a united kingdom at one point. And as a result of some things that were done, I himself split it up. So I wanted to go into that. We're going to talk about Jeroboam 1. And he was the first king. Jeroboam was the first king of the northern kingdom of Israel. The Hebrew Bible describes the reign of Jeroboam to have commenced following the revolt of the 10 northern Israelite tribes against Rehoboam and put an end to the united monarchy. And Jeroboam reigned for 22 years. One thing that the sister said last week that sparked me to go into a little bit more detail is the fact that it is reported in other texts that he married an Egyptian princess. And the reason why he married an Egyptian princess was because as Solomon was going out of, he was dying and going out of his reign, he had put out a hit on Jeroboam, and Jeroboam was told to run to Egypt and to stay there until after Solomon had died. So when he ran into Egypt, it says that he went to the Pharaoh of Egypt, and for some reason how he met this princess, they said it was Pharaoh's daughter. But there's not a lot to substantiate that, but this is the story that was told, that it was Pharaoh's daughter that he ended up marrying, and then he, came back after Solomon was gone. So I wanted to get into a little bit of more history. He was born in the kingdom of Israel. He died in Tirzah. His parents were Nebat and Zeruiah. His wife was called Ano, but there's not a lot of information about her. He had Nadab and Abijah, and he was a part of the new house of the tribe of Ephraim. So basically, Jeroboam was a part of Joseph's clan. He came out of the tribe, he came out of Ephraim, the son of Joseph. Remember, Joseph had Manasseh and Ephraim. And it stands to reason why he ran into Egypt, because Manasseh and Ephraim's mother was an Egyptian. Make sense?
Yep.
This was a part of his lineage.
Yep.
She was an Egyptian. Okay, it says Jeroboam's wife is a character in the Hebrew. She is unnamed in the Masoretic text, but according to the Septuagint, she was an Egyptian princess called Ano. So let's get to the prophecy, and here's the important part. 1 Kings chapter 11. This was a prophecy that was given. Verse 28. It says, "And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor, and Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he clad himself a new garment, and they too were alone in the field." Now, Ahijah is very important in this story, and I know I'm going over some stuff, but this is very important. Now watch. "And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it into 12 pieces." Why do you think he took and tore that piece of garment into 12 pieces? What did those 12 pieces represent?
The 12 tribes of Israel.
The 12 tribes of Israel. Watch what he does. He says, and he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Most High, the Elohim of Israel, behold, I will rent the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. Because that they have forsaken me, and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Shemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon. This is what they did. And have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments as David his father. Howbeit I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David's sake, for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. So the Most High done told Jeroboam, as soon as Solomon leaves, I'm going to cut it up. By prophecy. He said, as soon as he dies, for David's sake, I'm going to leave it like it is until he dies. But once he dies, I'm going to put you over 10 tribes. Watch what happens. And unto his son will I give 1 tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there. And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desires, and shall be king over Israel. So now he's established, guess what? 2 monarchies. Now you see what I mean? See what I mean? 2 complete monarchies. That's what he did.
I can't hear it. Somebody's making noise. I can't hear it.
All right, so I had to take care of that. I'm sorry, you guys. I had to put that on pause because every time I make that announcement, we have the same thing happen all the time. And I ask everybody all the time, but anyway, let's get back to the lesson. We might have to put that on pause again. I apologize to the people that are in the audience that you had to do that. So he established 2 different monarchies. It says, and it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and will walk in my ways, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as David my servant did, that I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee. So he was so fed up with Solomon that he split the kingdom in half and created 2 separate monarchies, and Jeroboam was supposed to be king over the 10 tribes of Israel. That's how we set it up. Watch. And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever. And Solomon sought therefore to kill Jeroboam. Jeroboam arose and fled into Egypt unto Shishak, king of Egypt, and was in Egypt until the death of Solomon. And the rest of the acts of Solomon and all that he did and his wisdom, are they not written in the book of the acts of Solomon? And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David his father, and Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. So this is why this was the end of the United Kingdom of Israel. Under David, we were all together under one kingdom. Under Saul, it was all one kingdom. But when Solomon took it over and he allowed himself to be lured by all of those women, he allowed himself to worship the gods of the wives that he chose. Can somebody tell me why the Most High doesn't want us to mix? What was the main reason why he said don't marry the people of the other nations?
That we would turn him away from him and worshiping him?
Absolutely. And we see it happening. And then exactly what happened with Solomon. Exactly what happened. He said, do not marry the people of the other nations. And why? Because they don't know me. And the first thing they're going to do is turn you away from me. They're going to make it not be a big deal. I don't see why you're so religious. You're nothing but a Bible thumper. You're not, and before you know it, the God that you do know, you're compromising, and you're not really worshiping him the way you should because you've decided to connect with somebody that doesn't know him. And that's male and female. Anybody have any questions so far? Now, we're just going to go over this real quick because it's something I want to show you about Jeroboam. King Rehoboam. Okay, now this is what happened then. King Rehoboam now takes over. The line of succession is moved in. It says, 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke would he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. Now because those people went to him, were they able to make that decision from what we just read?
No.
Why?
Because both sides already put it in place of how he wanted the kingdom to be run.
Absolutely. He had already gave him the prophecy to Ahijah, and Ahijah gave the prophecy to Jeroboam, and Jeroboam had already went to Egypt. So no matter what they had done, no matter what they tried to do, it didn't matter whether it was 3 days or 30 days. Was it going to change anything?
No.
No, because his word had already came through. Watch what happens. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye, that we may answer this people? Spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter. And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did lay at you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. And my father has chastened you with whips, but I will chase you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again that day. Now, why did Jeroboam even go through all of that? He already knew what the Most High had told him. Watch. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastened you with whips, but I will chase you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people. Okay, everybody, I don't know who's doing that, but we're not going to play that game anymore. We're just going to leave it like this, and then I'll open up the screen when I finish. I don't know who that is, but we're not going to do that no more. All right, so it says, so when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we with Dawid? Neither have we inheritance of the son of Jesse to your tents, O Israel. Now see to thy own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tent. The rebellion. Now something happened watch what happened. Verse 17. It says, but as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Yehudah, Rehoboam reigned over them. It was still some people, children of Israel, living in the cities of Yehudah. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute. He was there to pick up taxes. And all Israel stoned him with stones that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of Dawid unto this day. And it came to pass when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. And there was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Yehudah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Yehudah with the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. So he was going to try to reverse what the prophet had told him that was going to happen and bring all the tribes back under him anyway, after they had decided that they were not going to follow under him. And then the Most High had given the prophecy. Watch until he receives another prophecy. Watch what he says. But the word of the Most High came unto Shemaiah, the man of Yah, saying, speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Yehudah, and unto all the house of Yehudah and Benjamin, and to the remnants of the people, saying, thus saith the Most High, ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house. For this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of the Most High, and returned to depart according to the word of the Most High. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence, and built Penuel. All right, now I'm gonna open up the mics and give everybody a chance to kind of say something. Give me 1 second. I hate I have to do this because I really don't want to do it this way, but somebody leaves me no choice. You know, we try to be understanding as much as possible, and we try to open up the mics, but it's not happening. Anybody have a comment at all whatsoever? Anybody? I'm just opening the mic so the people that I know. Anybody understand? I have a question of any kind. I'm getting these mics up, and I'm sorry about this, and I hate to have to do it this way. But unfortunately, we have to do it this way. Any questions?
Question.
You know, we have a couple of new people on the line, and I don't know if they understand how this is working, but I apologize to you guys, but we have to be able to have some uniformity in this thing. Anybody have any questions at all whatsoever? So when the Most High tell you to... Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how old they were?
Who is they?
Like Jeroboam.
know what? I don't know. Let me find out. When he took the throne?
Yes.
When he became king, let me see. We're going to find out. They say he was 25 years old when he became king. He was 25 years old. Definitely.
It makes sense as the reason why he would listen to the young men.
Oh, you're talking about Rehoboam.
Rehoboam? Was that who he was?
That's Solomon's son. Now, Rehoboam, when he became king, he was, they said Rehoboam was 41 years old when he ascended the throne. So he wasn't a young man. He wasn't.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't a young man. Now, Jeroboam was, but Rehoboam wasn't a young man. He was of age. You know? So he didn't listen, but the thing about it, the biggest thing out of this was that this was the Most High's doing. This was his doing. He said, don't change anything. This is how I have it, and this is how I want it to be. So let me get back to the lesson. I wanted to be able to make sure I got that in there because I wanted you guys to, now that I have the mics open for the people that I know, or, you know, we can go there. We can just go from there. I hate to have to do this. But then Jeroboam goes through something. After he gets the kingdom and after the Most High promises the kingdom, and the Most High says to him, if you do what I tell you to do, I'm going to be with you. Whatever you need, I'll be with you. If you follow my laws, my statutes, and my commandments, I'm going to be with you. Well, watch what he does. Watch what he does. Verse 26. Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. He was afraid people was going to go back to the southern kingdom. After he got the prophecy, after the Most High told him, I'm splitting the kingdom up, I'm going to make you king over Israel, he got fear in his heart that the people were going to go back to the southern kingdom. Watch what he does. If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Most High at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Elohim, even unto Rehoboam king of Yehudah, and they shall kill me and go again to Rehoboam king of Yehudah. How could he think like that? After the Most High told him what it was going to be. I'm asking.
He doubted him.
Say again?
He doubted the Most High.
He didn't believe him.
Yeah. Instead of him saying, I will follow him.
Has music on their phone.
Say again?
I don't know who was playing that music, but go ahead, Brother William. What were you saying?
No, instead of him believing what the Most High said, he doubted him, to where he wanted to go it on and trust in his own wisdom and his own brain, instead of just like, hey, I'm just gonna follow you no matter what.
And the thing about it is, Jerusalem was the place where they went and did the feast. That's where they went to the house of the Most High. That's the house that Solomon built. He was afraid that if those people went back to that house and they were in Jerusalem worshiping at that place, that they would no longer want to come out out of that area and out of Jerusalem and they wanted to stay there with Rehoboam in spite of what the Most High told him. He was afraid that if they saw the temple, they would be enticed to stay in the southern part of the land after the Most High told him he was going to split it up.
And he knew why the kingdom was split, because of Solomon. But instead of him believing what the Most High says, he doubted him. I guess he figured that the Most High was going to be him like that too.
But watch what he did. Watch what he does. He said, the fake God. Verse 28. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold the Elohims or the gods of Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Did he say what I think he said?
Yes, ma'am. He said exactly what you think he said.
Whoa. And I am a sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Can you
that
repeat
was,
that? Can you repeat that?
I am so sorry. I thought you were Sister LaVia. I'm sorry. I apologize. But yes, he did. He said, these be your gods that brought you up out of the land of Egypt. Jeroboam.
Oh, man.
He was rude.
That was the same thing that when they came out of Egypt, what's his face said that.
Aaron said it.
Yep. Aaron said the same thing. Yep. After the Most High, he was going to be king. After the Most High told him, all you have to do is obey me and follow my laws, statutes, and commandments, and I'm going to be with you, and I'm going to give you 10 of the 12 tribes.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, you have the voice of the Most High in your head. He's talking to you. Okay? Yeah. And he's telling you exactly what he wants you to do and how to do it. But yet you go ahead on, you doubt him, and you want to follow your own way. No wonder we are such a stiff-necked bunch of people.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. He did it anyway. He went and did. You know what he did? He did what was in his DNA to do. Why? Because a part of him was Egyptian, and he had spent time in Egypt. And guess what? He brought all of that back to the children of Israel. He brought it all back to a crescendo, and he created 2 golden calves. In the Most High's face and said, these are your gods. Worship them.
And see, that was a prime example of them being turned away from the other nations. And he did exactly.
Absolutely.
And he tried to rewrite history.
Rewrite history, prophecy, and everything else. Absolutely. Absolutely, he did. And can
because
we
when
feel like
people,
Most High felt?
because when people see their king worshiping other gods, they're going to be thinking the same thing.
Yes, absolutely. Wait a minute, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt? I said, oh yeah, you was really going to get in trouble. Watch.
So forget about all that wilderness.
Right. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Look, and he set the one in Bethel, he had 2 of them now, and the other he put in Dan. Watch what he did. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. That's what you said. When they see the king do it, everybody else be like, well, this must be what we're supposed to be doing. Now, you just came up against Solomon for doing the exact same thing. And he made a house of high places, and look, here we go, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi. He created his own priesthood. That's why
following his own heart.
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
Following his own heart.
Yes. Now, doesn't that sound familiar for today?
It certainly does. You see what's going on out here in the land with us as a people. Just us. I'm not talking about all the other nations that live here. Just our people. What do they want to do? They want to follow their own heart. When you try to tell them to keep his commandments, because that's very, very important. Oh, I have faith, but I don't have to keep his commandments. Those things are gone. Jesus took that away. Oh, boy. All I can do is just shake my head.
Yeah. And wait a minute. Let's go a step further. And some of the Israelite groups. Let's deal with that, too. Same situation.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The Israelite groups. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I said. I'm not talking about the other folks that are here. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about our people who call themselves by his name. That's what I'm talking about. The Israelites, whether they are the 1/3 or the 2/3.
Yeah.
Because they're both grouped in there together.
And I believe those that's out there teaching that, a lot of twisted religion, or whatever you want to call it, it's those who are, I notice they're really into the flesh. A lot of them start teaching out of this, it's fleshly.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, sis. No question. So this is what he was. He went through the flesh, but he also went back to his roots. He went back to Egypt. He started teaching what came up out of Egypt. Because that's what came out of Egypt when they left Egypt was the same thing.
Mm-hmm. So he's really reinforcing they're still a different people. We're a different people.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And some people just can't let Egypt go. They cannot. So he created his own gods. He created his own high places, a house of high places, and his own priesthood. In y'all's face. Watch. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Yehudah, and offered it upon the altar. So he even created his own fake feast days.
Wow. But he does the complete opposite of what God told him to do.
Yeah, in his face. He did it in his face. He did it in his face. He did.
I wonder, did they have any fear? I don't. It's like I read about these kings. It's like, did they think God was playing or what? It's like they totally ignored him. A lot of them just totally ignored him and just went about doing their own thing. And like, I don't get that.
They still do
well,
it today.
let me stop there because we're doing it today too. Let me stop it.
They do it today. And you know why they're doing it today? Our Elohim is a gentleman. He's not going to force you. He's not. He has the power to wipe you out right now. He could wipe you out right now and all your seed and all your family members and everything, but he doesn't.
Exactly.
Because he wants you to be obedient. He wants this to be a voluntary thing. That's what he wants.
Because he said he's long-suffering. I'm a long-suffering God, and I'm long-suffering. So he is.
He is. So he doesn't say anything. And as a result of him not saying anything, he waits because he wants you to be obedient. He wants it to be your own free will.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll watch you for a long time. And then when he gets tired of watching you, and your time is up, he'll send somebody by to warn you. And I'm getting ready to show you. I'm going to show you what he did to Jeroboam. It's so cold-blooded. I said, when I put this together, I said, oh, you know you are the truth. I mean, he don't even play. Because he's quiet with it. And that's what I love about him. He's not a bully.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's not. He's a gentleman. He'll tell you, this is what I want you to do. And I'm going to be with you. Just keep my laws, my statutes, and my commandments. And I'm with you. And I'm going to give you all this. He told him, I'll make you king over 10 of the tribes. I'm going to give you all this is yours. All Jeroboam had to do, right?
You know, I was reading the other day and it was talking about how he equated Israel as the wife and he's the husband. And how much he loved her, but when she went a whoring against him, then he had to punish her. So, but it just showed the love that he had for his people, that you could create someone that's my wife and I'm your husband. He's not married to you, Israel, so that kind of love.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's long-suffering. He's quiet. And see, that's what people can't understand, which gives the other gods the opportunity to show out and make a bunch of noise and make everybody think that they're in control. But when he show up, it's a game changer. When he decides to step in, everybody starts shaking. Everybody's nervous. Because he is the King of Kings. It ain't no lie about that. But he's a gentleman about it. Always have been. Watch what happened. Watch. So did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto calves that he had made, and he placed in Bethel the priest of the high places which he had made. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel on the 15th day of the 8th month, even in the month which he had devised of his own heart. He came up with his own stuff. That's why I tell everybody, look, don't step to me talking about birthdays. Don't talk to me about – if you can't show that to me in the Word, we're not going with something that you made up. None of that. Because I feel like this. If they can tell me that Isaac didn't have Jacob until he was 70 years old, somebody keeping up with something. If you can tell me that so-and-so didn't die that he was 200 and something years old, somebody's keeping up with something. So don't bring that to me about the foolishness and all the other foolishness that you're talking about, because a lot of this stuff has been devised in these own people's hearts. Period. Period. And that's just how I feel about it. And until the Most High condemns me for it, I ain't going to let nobody else do it. I'm just not going to let them. Because I'm learning from this that man does what he want to do when he want to do it. That's why I tell everybody, be careful with the books you're reading, because we don't know what priesthood wrote them. Now, I'm not knocking all of them, and I ain't going against everything, but I'm saying you got to really be careful, because I've had some people send me some stuff that was straight up witchcraft and was trying to convince me that it wasn't. This ain't really witchcraft. Well, when they had it sent to me, and I opened it up, and it was like, this is spells so-and-so. I'm like, spells? We don't do spells over here. I politely wrapped it back up and sent it right back to Amazon and said, please return this to whoever bought it. No, ma'am. We're not going to do that over here. Now, I don't know what everybody do at their house, at home. We're not doing that over here. We just not. Because we've been doing this all the way down through time. We've been doing what we wanted to do in his face. And we're just not going to do that. I make sure I keep the laws, the statutes, and his commandments. And that's what he told me to do. Anybody have any questions or comments? Because this is going to get real interesting here in a minute. Because this man went way too far. He went too far. And the Most High just watched him. Lightning didn't strike. He didn't strike his house or his food or nothing until he got tired of watching it. Watch, an ordained feast unto the children of Israel, and he offered upon the altar and burned incense. Now, Here we go. Here's a little history. Israel is divided into 2 kingdoms. The 10 tribes rebelled against the Most High and set up an alternative religious system. The tribes of Yehudah and Benjamin remained faithful to the Most High for a while. He set up his own religious system. And that's when they said he made that Dan became a part of the priesthood. That the tribe of Dan was involved in the ritualistic practices, and I'm going to get into all that. They were involved in the ritualistic practices of the northern tribe when they left under Jeroboam. They were sacrificing under devils. Under casts and stuff, under that old Egyptian religion. It had crept back in. I told y'all when me and Malcolm went to the first one that we had ever went to among Hebrew Israelites, they had the Egyptian lady with the wings sticking out with the camel. I was like, oh no, this ain't looking right. Oh no, praise. She said, shalom, sis. I said, yes, shalom. As we were walking out the door. He's not doing that I'm not doing that. No. It says a remnant from the 10 northern tribes joined the 2 southern tribes known as Yehudah to worship the Most High in Jerusalem. Some of the people left. They said, no. So guess what? That's how the southern kingdom came up with Levi, Yehudah, and Benjamin. Watch what Ahijah do. Now, this is getting interesting. This is the best part. So pick this. This is going to get good. Hold on. Ahijah the Shilonite. Ahijah the Shilonite was a Levite prophet of Shelah in the days of Solomon, as mentioned in the Hebrew Bible's first book of Kings. Ahijah foretold to Jeroboam that he would become king. The Hebrew Bible records 2 of his prophecies. Now remember, he was a Levite prophet from the tribe of Levi. Watch. The sin committed. Check this out. 1 Kings chapter 14. Now, sis, I want you to pay attention to this because you're going to learn something about the Most High. Now, pay attention. It says, verse 1, at the time, Abijah, the son of Jeroboam, fell sick. Watch what happened. And Jeroboam said to his wife, arise, I pray thee, and disguise thyself, that thou be not known to the wife to be the wife of Jeroboam. He said, put on a costume, make yourself up so you don't look like you my wife. Watch what. And get to Shiloh, and behold, there is Ahijah the prophet, which told me that I should be king over this people. He said, disguise yourself because you're going to go see Ahijah. Watch what happens. And take with thee 10 loaves and cracknels and a cruse of honey, and go to him. And he shall tell thee what shall become of the child. He said, go see the prophet. When you go, take something with you, because it's customary when you go to see the prophet that you bring something to the prophet, because this man is a man of Yah, because he was the one who prophesied to me that I was going to be king, and when you go to him, he going to give you a word. But guess what? You can't look like you're my wife. Wonder why he made her disguise herself. I'm asking.
He probably didn't want her to be identified not only as his wife, but as his Egyptian wife.
That's a good reason. That's probably true too. But what else? Why do you think he didn't want him to know that that was his wife?
Maybe he didn't want the prophet to know that that was his wife, because the prophet would not go before the Most High for her.
You think it was her? Okay. That's a good cause, too. Somebody else. Why do you think he didn't want the prophet to know that that was his wife?
He got been disobedient.
There we go, because he had been disobedient. He had been disobedient. He knew he was disobedient. He knew he was disobedient. He knew what he had did. He had set up a whole new religious system. A whole other one. And guess who he thought he was going to trick? He thought he was really going to trick the prophet of Yah. He did. He said, disguise yourself. Don't even look like me. Watch what happens. Watch. And Jeroboam's wife did so and arose and went to Shiloh and came to the house of Ahijah. But Ahijah could not see, for his eyes were set by reason of his age. So he got old and became blind, so he couldn't see her no way. But she put on this whole costume, makeup, hair. Ain't no telling, she could have had a blonde wig on. You just never know what she looked like, but she didn't look like herself. So they was going to go and try to trick Yah. Watch what happens. Just when you got to love your Elohim, watch what he do. And the Most High said unto Ahijah, he said, behold, the wife of Jeroboam cometh to ask thee a thing for her son, for he is sick.
You don't toad off on him.
Hey, to tell y'all something, he ain't putting nothing past the Most High. He see it all.
Yeah.
They went through all that for nothing because he told him, he already told him, coming. She on her way. You can't push nothing. You can't be slick with him. Watch what happens. Watch. He told her. He said, his child is sick. Watch. Thus and thus shalt thou say to her, for it shall be when she come in that she shall feign herself to be another woman. She going to look like somebody else. He, the Most High, didn't even told him she got on a costume. She got on disguise. He whispering this into the prophet's ear. This how cold-blooded the Most High is. He going to be bland. I'm like, man, you are off the chain. Watch. And it was so when Ahijah heard the sound of her feet as she came in at the door that he said, come in, thou wife of Jeroboam. And why hated thou self to be another? He said, man, this man can't see for nothing. He blind. He said, come on in, Jeroboam.
I knew she was going away.
I bet she just wanted to fall over.
Right. She said, what gave me away?
Oh, you gotta love Yah. I'm telling you. He asked her too, like, why you got on the costume? Now this man can't see, y'all. He blind. He can't see.
That's the funny part about the fact that he can't see.
Oh, I know. She said, well, that was all for nothing. I mean, he said, for I am sent to thee with heavy tidings. Oh, my God. I said, you know what, y'all, I love you. Because he let you know I'm the boss. I see and hear it all. You can't put nothing past me. I know what your deep, darkest secrets are. Ain't nothing and especially when you think you're trying to pull one over, I'm going to let you know I know all about it. We've already exposed you before you got there. Watch what happens. Watch. Go tell Jeroboam, thus saith the Most High Elohim of Israel. No, he can get it now, y'all. Watch. For as much as I exalted thee from among the people and made thee prince over my people Israel. And rent the kingdom away from the house of David and gave it thee. And yet thou hast not been as my servant David, who kept my commandments and who followed me with all his heart to do that only which was right in mine eyes. He said, now he's getting ready to check him. Now this is what Ahijah is telling the wife. Because she traveled all the way to his house. So this is the word that she's getting ready to take back to her husband. Why? But has done evil above all that were before thee. For thou hast gone and made thee other gods and molten images to provoke me to anger, and hast cast me behind thy back. Therefore, behold, will I bring evil upon the house of Jeroboam, and will cut off from Jeroboam him that pisses against the wall. Watch. And him that is shut up and left in Israel, and will take away the remnant of the house of Jeroboam, as a man taketh away dung, till it be all gone. Hold on. Him that dieth of Jeroboam in the city shall the dogs eat, and him that dieth in the fields shall the fowls of the air eat, for the Most High has spoken it. Now, that ain't why she went. She got way more than what she bargained for. Watch. Arise, thou therefore, get thee to thy own house, and when thy feet enter into the city, the child shall die.
Boy.
See, that's why you don't play with Yah. Because he was quiet. Sis, he was quiet when he was setting up the groves and the high places. He was quiet when he built the molten calf, the golden calf. He was quiet when he made his own feast days. He didn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing. He was quiet. He set up his own priesthood. He set up his own religious system. He went totally against it. That's why I tell y'all, let me say something to these groups out here. Y'all better be careful the way you mislead y'all's people. I'm telling you. He was quiet. Till a scenario was set up where he had to go to the prophet because he didn't have no answer. And he sent a word. He said, this is it. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying the other day I was listening to a couple of these camps, and I was saying, Lord, how much longer is like they're making their own, they make up their own little stories, they twist the scriptures, and the biggest thing about me, my question is, I would love to ask this question if I ever approach one of them is, you talk about how salvation is only for Israel, that other people can't be saved, but yet they're going to be in the kingdom as your servants. So you can't have it both ways. They're either not going to be in the kingdom, or they're, it's just a lie. It's just, it's just the stuff that they teach on is all out of flesh and hatred. So you have them popping up all over the place. And I'm not downing, I'm not putting down the brothers, because I pray for the camp every morning. I pray for them all. That they would, start, asking the Lord to guide them and teach from the Spirit and from the Word, not from the flesh, not from your hate and your resentment. And I see a lot of them that's rising up doing that. And it just makes it look so bad for those who are out there really trying to teach according to the truth, allowing the Holy Spirit to teach them. And you have these other ones, rebels, that's coming along and it's just, leading a lot of people astray.
Absolutely. That is true. That is so very true. But guess what? When you see it, when you a story like this, one thing you can say for sure is if they ain't on the right track, the Most High got them.
Not. You got that right. That's the answer to my prayer. This is a good one. I'm going to keep this one because they're banking on getting this one. Yeah, a lot of them is banking on getting this one because that's exactly what they're doing, exactly what Jeroboam did, the exact same thing.
Yeah, he got them.
It makes me think, too, he said that Jerusalem will be trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Yes. It will be fulfilled.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. No doubt about it. Them too. Yes, ma'am. Nobody's going to get away.
No, nobody.
And he quiet about it, y'all. That's the thing, because lets people say what they want to say, and they do what they want to do. And then when time comes back, because he said everybody going to be judged. Every deed done in the flesh, every word spoken from the mouth, every idle word shall be judged. Everybody's going to be judged, according to what they do, because that's exactly what he just did with Jeroboam. He gave him the promote. Now listen, he promoted him while Solomon was still on the throne. He met Ahijah when Ahijah was a young man. And he was young enough to give the prophecy. Ahijah took the garment that he had and ripped it in 12 parts, gave him 10 of them, and took the last 2 to Solomon. told him he's going to elevate you to king over Israel and put you over these 10 tribes. He had the majority of the tribes. He said, but until Solomon died, you go down into Egypt and you stay down there till he died. When he died, you come back. He came back and did what he was supposed to do and walked off with 10 of the tribes. But because he didn't believe the Most High and there was an ulterior motive in his heart, he set up his own religious system.
Wow.
Then he's going to try to trick the Most High after his son gets sick for him to go back to the same prophet. Now, the one who just gave you the prophecy and told you you was going to be in charge, this man that got old, so you think you're going to trick him, and then you're going to send your wife down there to try to figure out what's going to happen to your son.
He had lost his mind.
He gone.
Lost his mind.
You can't trick Yah. He knows it all. He knows who is real, and he knows who's not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Watch what happens. He said, as soon as thy feet enter into the city, the child shall die. And all Israel shall mourn for him and bury him, for he only of Jeroboam shall come to the grave, because in him there is found some good toward the Most High Elohim of Israel in the house of Jeroboam. He said that's the only that's the only human body you guys gonna bury. The rest of y'all gonna lay out in the field and just disintegrate and He said that's the only one they gonna mourn for his son.
That goes to the hypocrite. They're hypocrites because Jeroboam led the people, to worship the other gods. But then when he needed a real answer, he went to the correct God.
Yes, hello. Thank you. Hello. And the Most High knew he was coming, and guess what? He said he was waiting on him. He said she on her way down here, and she coming to ask you something. She dressed up like somebody else, but this is what you tell her when she get here. Because the man couldn't see. He was blind. Can you imagine walking in the room of a blind man sitting in a chair, and he tell you, I know you dressed up like somebody else.
I wouldn't mind being a fly on that wall.
Say again.
I said I wouldn't mind being a fly on that wall at that time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you think you're gonna sneak to the right God and get the results you want. No, he don't operate like that. You ain't gonna kick him in the face and then turn around and think you're gonna get a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
He don't work like that. But he don't say nothing, see? He just let you do. He let you go do what you think is right. He'll let you, even though you know better, because you know Jeroboam knew better, because that's the reason why he left Solomon in the first place.
And the scriptures don't even show that he tried to repent.
No. He had his own system set up, his own feast days, his own priesthood, his own gods he set up. He was setting up his own religious system. Watch what happens. Watch. Moreover, the Most High shall raise him up a king over Israel who shall cut off the house of Jeroboam that day. But what? Even now. For the Most High shall smite Israel as a reed is shaken in the water, and he shall root up Israel out of this good land which he gave to their fathers, and shall scatter them beyond the river, because they had made their groves provoking the Most High to anger. And he shall give Israel up because of the sins of Jeroboam, who did sin and who made Israel to sin. Jeroboam's wife arose, can you imagine, and departed, and came to Tirzah. And when she came to the threshold of the door, the child died. What a word to have to take back to your husband. What a word to have to take back to the king. You know, when she walked in there, she was believing like I'm at least going to be able to get in and say goodbye. Let me just get there long enough to say goodbye. She didn't even get to say goodbye to her own child. As soon as her feet hit the threshold, the baby gave up his last breath. mourn for him according to the word of the Most High, which he spake by the hand of his servant Ahijah the prophet. And the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, how he warred and how he reigned, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. And the days which Jeroboam reigned were 25 years, and he slept with his fathers, and Nadab his son reigned in his stead. Any questions at all whatsoever?
What chapter was that?
Oh, let me see. Chapter, I want to say chapter 12. Let me get it for you. Let me get it for you because I want to make sure.
Chapter 14.
14.
Chapter 14.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
14.
Yep. Chapter 14. Yes, ma'am. All of that because he tried to trick him. You cannot trick Yah. You cannot trick the Most High. He knows your heart. He knows the secrets and all the sentiments of he knows what your motives are. So even if some of these groups is out here and their ulterior motives is to deceive, believe me, they have an expiration date. You can't trick him. He told the prophet, she coming. The man couldn't even see. He said the wife of Jeroboam is coming and she dressed like somebody else, so be prepared. Be prepared. He know what you're doing. He know what you're doing and he know why you're doing it. And believe me, there ain't going to be too many more days hence where he gonna make it known publicly why you was doing it, and when you see something happening to certain people, all you can be like is, man, like, man, you know, just never know why people doing what they doing, I'm telling you. Real talk. Any questions at all whatsoever? This is crucial. And it's crucial.
Sure is.
This
Yes,
is what
ma'am.
it's all about. This was what this was all about. This is what this was all about. This was what it was all about. That's why they went into captivity. Because each time there was a king that went up, that one was worse than the other one. And they had a time span. And when he got tired of it, guess what he did? He sent the king of Syria against them and took them into captivity. They had their own religious system set up, just like today. They got their own stuff jumping off. Some of the stuff that some of these groups and stuff is out here saying is just utterly ridiculous.
It is.
Most High just watching. He ain't saying nothing. He just watching. You know, he watching until he get tired of watching, and then he gonna do what he got to do. No, that's why I said last week we ain't calling him by no other name, by no other God. He ain't the same God, but known by a different name than other people. No, he stands alone. He stands completely alone. All these folks coming up with this crap. I told y'all when I first came on the scene, all the Hebrew Israelites had to be vegan. I'm like, that can't be so. Because the scripture, the Most High said, these are the animals that thou shalt eat. Well, I know, sis, but, you know, when you go all the way back to the Garden of Eden, when he wanted us to be vegans, I said, no, he wanted us to eat meat. Because if he wanted us to be vegan, we would have continued to be vegan all the way through. So, but if you want to be a vegan, that's fine. But don't put that heresy out there that everybody's supposed to be vegan, because that's not what the word says.
Well, wasn't Aaron's sons, when they did the sacrifice, and some of those sacrifices they had to eat.
Yeah.
The sacrifice that they took to the Lord, they had to eat it. And it was holy when they did it.
Animals that thou shalt eat. Now, if you don't want to eat meat, that's fine. But don't try to create a doctrine that says all Hebrew Israelites supposed to be vegan. And they did that for a long time. I said, but that's not what the word says. And it's just been one thing after another. It's like, okay, that didn't work. Let's try something else. That's creating your own religious system.
Well, that's what the Catholic Church has done.
Say that again, bro. I'm sorry.
I said that's what the Catholic Church has done. They've done the same thing. So you have people following them because that's what seems to work. But the thing is, when people don't read for themselves, the Bible themselves, and then the other books that are out there that the Bible speak about, and even other books that the Bible doesn't speak about, but yet still praising Yah and praising Him the right way, people, when they don't read, they can be told anything, and they'll follow any leader. And if that leader says for you to go on to eat excrement, you'll go on, you'll do it. Why? Because you're following the leader instead of following the Most High.
Absolutely. We're not supposed to wear leather shoes because animals got to be killed. I said, well, they killed animals. They skinned animal skin. They sold animal skin. They sold animal fur. That's how they made their money. The Israelites did that. It's all of these isms and schisms and quirks that make us look weird. And I've had so many people come up to me and say, I don't have a problem with being an Israelite, but the weird stuff, I ain't going to be able to do that. I just ain't going to be able to do that. It just ain't making no sense. And then we have to go back behind the weird stuff and be like, okay, this is really what the scripture says. And then it's, well, why are they telling people to do that? Because they're trying to create their own religious system. Guess what Jeroboam did? Same scenario. Same situation.
When Jeroboam appointed his own priest instead of the Levites like the Most High did, those priests came up with all kind of rules that the people in the north followed. And they just got sucked up in that thing, and they have forgotten what the Most High had told them to do through the Levitical line.
Yep. And they was Israelites, so most people believe them because they was Israelites by birth. They was true Hebrew Israelites by birth. They was. They just got caught up in the mess.
Yep, the mess that Jeroboam did.
It's a lot in this story. You know what I'm saying? This story that we just read right now reveals a lot of stuff that's going on right now. A lot of things that are going on right now is revealed in this story right here. And the dangerous part is that it's mixed with keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. They just mix in the other stuff in there with it. And it's like, no, you don't get to do that. That's not what the scripture says. He created his own stuff, his own feast days, his own high holy days, his own priesthood, his own temples. He had all his own stuff. And it's a lot. That is why they went into captivity. That is exactly why the northern tribe went into captivity, never to be seen no more. These is Joseph's kids that was leading the rest of the tribes. You can't trick God. I don't know what gave him the inkling that he was even going to be able to get that off. I don't even know why he felt like he was going to be able to get that off, but he did. And his wife went along with him.
Arrogant.
Yeah. Dress up like somebody else, please. Before she got there, the Most High whispered it into Ahijah's ear. Jeroboam's wife is on her way, and she dressed up like somebody else. She in disguise. Soon he heard her. He couldn't even see her. He heard her feet coming through the door. Hello, Jeroboam's wife. Why you dressed up like some other woman? Woo! It's simple, y'all. It's ABC 1, 2, 3. When you start adding stuff to and making people subject to your beliefs and your thoughts and your mess, no.
You said, let's drop the charades and get down to some truth.
Yes, absolutely. Because guess what? When you live truth, it's a beautiful lifestyle. It's a beautiful lifestyle. Craziness. Anybody have any questions at all whatsoever before we cut off the recording that you think the world needs to hear?
Yes, I had one thing. Now, when we was reading, you said some of the Northern Kingdom members went down to the south, but they got tired of Jeroboam's situation. So did they go into captivity with Judah when Judah went into captivity, some of the northern people?
They would have had to if they went. I don't know how many. It just depends. You know what I'm saying? I know that the main three tribes is Benjamin, Levi, and Yehudah. That's the southern kingdom. But I'm sure some of the people got tired of the pagan worship, because you're not going to tell me all of Simeon and the rest of the tribes were just, and the tribes, all the other boys was just, all of them just was going for that. Some people probably got tired of that and was like, I'm going back down there. I'm not getting ready to do this. Because I would have been one of them people, like, I'm not finna worship no golden calf.
Yeah, right. Nah.
I'm leaving. And I would have moved back into one of them southern cities and paid my tribute and been where I was supposed to be. No. The Reuben tribe and the Issachars and all of it, no, I'm sure all of them didn't do that. But people can't seem to break away from Egypt. He said, you did the very thing that I told you not to do.
And how many years did he spend in Egypt? Like 40 years?
He ruled for 22 years. Jeroboam did.
That's a lot of years to pick up a whole lot of stuff in Egypt.
Yes. Yes. And you set up your own feast days. It's like, what's that? When did we start doing this? Can you imagine the people like, when we start doing this? And the Most High just watched it and he didn't say nothing. And he just watched it and he didn't say nothing. But when the appropriate time came, he let him have it. He said, go tell him this is what's getting ready to happen. She went down there for one thing to find out whether her son was going to live, and she got a whole earful. I said, man.
That pointed out that the I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, sis.
I was saying that the children pay for the sins of their parents.
Yeah. Yeah, really. And you can't be mixing stuff over here. You think ain't nobody going to know it? You chanting and marching around and we ain't do all that. All that old weird stuff. And nobody is no further along than nobody else. We still all sitting in this captivity. No. So, this just no. The answer is no. Our God is our God. He is our Elohim. He is not known by Allah. He is not known by Buddha. He is not known to other people by any other name. Those are the gods that he gave unto you for you to worship. But he is our Elohim, and he is the King of kings. He is the creator of all things. Now they trying to say, he's just, he's known by many names by different people. Oh, no, you don't. No, you don't. Nope, absolutely not. This is getting ready to get interesting. Because, y'all, I'm going to tell you something. The way it's looking, we're going to be the only ones standing up for the Most High Elohim. Because the way they grouping him in with everybody else, it's getting ready to be one big old happy family, one big old religious family. Well, he's known by many names to different people, but it's still just one God. No. So I'm going to end the recording. I thank everyone for joining us out there in the listening audience. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. I hope you got something from this lesson, because I certainly did. You can't hide from the Most High Yah. Don't forget, we'll be on the radio show tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you join us. The number is 718-664-9551. Thank you so much for joining us, and we appreciate you on this Sabbath. Good